To start our new Space Invaders game, I'm going to create a new Scratch project that I'm going to go ahead and title Space Invaders. I'm going to call mine number 2 because I have already done this to double check all the code works. So I would otherwise have 2 projects of the same name. So I'm going to add the 2. You're not going to need that. All right, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start to set up the backgrounds and sprites that I'm going to need for this game. Go ahead and start with the backdrops and choose a backdrop. The one that most of you will probably use is stars. That one works pretty well. There's another one, I believe it's called Nebula, something like that. Yeah, Nebula would work okay. Moon would work fine. It'd look a little weird maybe. Galaxy works fine. Any one of those. I'm going to pick stars just because it's the basic one. I'm going to dump the cat as sprite 1, and I'm going to go ahead and choose a sprite. Now again, I'm going to use all sprites that are native to Scratch. You are welcome to, especially if you like retro things. The images from the old Space Invaders game are online. You can find them. The first one that I'm going to grab is Rocket Ship. So as I start to type it in, I can find Rocket Ship. Now, I'm going to actually adjust this costume a little bit. So if I come into costumes, I can actually, I just realized that they already had the one I wanted. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete all of the costumes. So I've got these like spinning ones. Now I've got the rocket ship with no fire. That's the one that I want. I'm actually going to go ahead and just in case I choose to do some things with costumes, I'm going to shorten it so it's just rocket ship. So this is the costume that I want. And I can start with the coding on that here in a minute. I'm also going to want my bad guy. I'm going to use the robot as the bad guy. And if you'd like to, this one here, we've used this character before. And if you'd like to use something else, you're fine to do so. But again, as I look at costumes, I don't have a robot without the little poof cloud. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all of the other ones. Robot A is just going to become robot. And on the character itself, I'm going to click the little poof cloud and delete it. So I have just the character itself. Okay. I'm going to go to the rocket ship and start some of my coding. So one of the first things I'm going to do is as we start, I do want to set the size because that is way too big. When I checked it before, I was at about 40% to get something about this size. Okay, this is going to be a much better playable character, so I definitely want to do that. The other thing I'm going to do under motion is depending on your character, if it wants to flip upside down or do weird things, you might have to set your rotation style to left right. I'm going to do that for me both on this and on the robot so that we are good to go, so that it doesn't flip it around or do anything strange. Now, I am going to program the motion on the rocket different than I've done in the past. In the past, we've used these events about key presses, and I will tell you the problem with that is, for those of you unfamiliar with Space Invaders, I'm going to use the left and right arrows to move my rocket back and forth, and I'm going to use the space bar to shoot a laser beam at my invaders. So if I do this the way we've done it before, where I use the key press event, as soon as I press a different key, it interrupts that event, meaning I can't shoot while moving. Okay, I have to actually release the key and hold it again. So I'm going to program my movement slightly in a different way. And basically what I have to do is I have to put a forever loop in, and I'm going to use an if then. I'm going to program it to the outside so I can make a copy. I'm going to use the sensing function of a key press for the right arrow. And then my motion will be to change X by 10. This is definitely something you can adjust as you're getting your game going. I'm going to duplicate this, and then do the left arrow and change my 10 to -10. By stacking these up and putting them here, I get the same functionality. Meaning if I go back and forth here, I can also push a different key, which I know right now, pushing the space bar, you might be able to hear it on my microphone, doesn't actually do anything, but you'll also notice it doesn't stop my rocket ship from moving. It doesn't change, it doesn't interrupt that sequence. So there you go. That is my sizing and motion on the rocket ship. That's my rocket ship code for now. I'm also going to go ahead and at this point create my laser. So I'm going to go ahead and I will actually do that in my next video.